All right. Well, welcome everyone to our course spotlight. Normally I introduce everybody, so I'll introduce the two of us. As Tim has said, we've got Sandra Harry, our co-CEO, and I'm Cathy Lawson, Chief Knowledge Officer. And we're going to talk to you about the Great Discovery courses that are on the platform. There's a free course that is fantastic to get people introduced to what it is and what they might learn if they take the course. There is a premium course currently on the platform that we'll talk about, and we are moving towards an academy course. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we're also getting ready to do a summit. And so in the summit, we're going to teach the Great Discovery, but we'll teach it a little differently than how it's on the platform. So there's lots of amazing learning opportunities for you, and we're just excited to share it with you because it's such rich material and so much that you can do with it. And we want you to be able to explore all of that and enable all of that in your own life. So I know Sandra likes to talk about so much about it, and then we'll just trade off. We're good with this. So
Well, thank you, Cathy, and thank you everybody for being here. And Cathy said we love to talk about the Great Discovery course, and I want to just take a step back. Part of getting ready for the summit in November is I have told the story of the Great Discovery, the course, how it came about. But I just have told a short version of it. So part of my journey in getting into this summit is I am going to prepare a full story of the Great Discovery, the history from really where it came from and how we got to where we're at today. So we've talked about all those different pieces, but we've never really put it together in one place. So that's something that I'm going to be working on. And I just want to share a little overview. So if anyone here that hasn't heard that history and how we got to where we're at today, kind of just give you a short recap. So my late husband was Dr. Michael J. Harry. He was the co-creator of Six Sigma back at Motorola. He and a fellow named Bill Smith. There's a whole story about that. Okay, so I touch on that story. But what came out of that was what Tim was talking about in the previous session was the three generations of Six Sigma. The first at Motorola around defects, the second at General Electric around cost reduction, the third at DuPont about increasing shareholder value. But Michael knew when he didn't walk away from the Six Sigma community, but he kind of stepped back and retired. He knew that there was something more that he wanted to do for humanity. He kept thinking and people kept asking him, but can't you get it down to an individual person? What was so powerful about Six Sigma? What made it so successful? Well, what Michael figured out was it was the cognitive roadmap that made Six Sigma so successful. We use math and statistics and all that stuff, right? To bring savings and find defects in everything and for businesses. But underneath all of that was the cognitive roadmap. And so Michael set out to identify that cognitive roadmap. And it took him years to do it. Okay. It took him a very short time to develop and create and develop Six Sigma and deploy it. But to find that cognitive roadmap took years of development. And so he did that. And he called it the Great Discovery. And it is a way of thinking. It's a new way of learning. I love to call it the Six Sigma way of thinking, but it's really a new way of learning. And that is what the Great Discovery course is all about. That is what Cathy and I want to share with all of you. That is what we've taken, and we've even simplified it more to be able to bring it down to where children can understand it. And another thing that I want you to understand about this new way of thinking, this new way of learning, is that it is a second order change. What do I mean by a second order change? That's a very, very important piece. It means once you make this change and you start to shift to this new way of thinking, this new cognitive roadmap, it's very difficult to go back. Okay, second order change, your cell phone. Could you give up your cell phone? Now, some of us say yes, we could, but in reality, could we? Can you give up your refrigerator? No, a refrigerator is a second order change. A car is too, but there's other ways of travel.
so
Those
is
things,
your internet. And
yes,
Sandra knows the story. Just this past weekend, I lost internet for the
yes,
first time in like 8 years. And I went to go get on the computer a couple times and go, oh, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, No, you can't. You don't have internet. So internet's a second order change.
It is. So that is the power of the Great Discovery. And that's why we want to get it to everyone, every child, 5 years and up, to anyone, 100 plus. We want to get it to. Michael's dream was this, and then I will stop because Cathy's right. I could talk about this all night. I really could. Michael's dream was this, and he left us way too early. And I was blessed to be able to ask to carry on his legacy. But he used to say to me, you know what, babe? If we could get the Great Discovery to everyone in the world and give them a half a sigma bump in their life. Now, a sigma is 1,800 times improvement. So imagine if you could get a 900 times improvement in your life, what could that do for the whole of society? Think about the impact we could have on society as a whole. That is why I am so driven, and I can say this for Cathy too. That's why we are so driven to get this program and this way of learning and way of thinking out to the world, because I believe it can make the world a better place. Absolutely make it a better place. So that's how passionate we are. And Cathy, I better stop.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to echo that, because here's the thing. I always say, if you imagine, and I know he said every person, and there's no reason in the world why I can't touch every person on the planet. But if we just took 10% of the population, 800 million people, let's take that. If all of them tomorrow woke up and could live a life dream that they've crafted through the Great Discovery and align with their core values, which we teach in this course, and align, have a proven path that shows them how to be successful. 10% of the population. Do you know how that would change the world? That would be, the world as we know it would be completely different than what we're living in today, completely different. So that's why this is so powerful and so important. So for our event on the 15th, language is no longer a barrier. You can invite anyone to come and they can learn this, and this is what we're going to teach. And so yeah, we can't talk about it all day long, but let me share. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Yeah. And I'll just take you through a short little thought process, the very front end of this, and I'll also show you the proven path. Start taking notes, because you know what, if you come on the 15th, we're going to revisit this and we'll go deeper. And the more you're thinking about it and the more you prepare in advance, the greater the results are going to be for you, and the faster you're going to be able to achieve this, because it will accelerate, it snowballs, and it becomes amazing how it impacts your life. So let me just quickly share my screen, and then we'll talk about, this is kind of a preview of what's to come. So we talk about the Great Discovery. You guys see that?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. And it's like, from your life dream, what is that? To your destiny, because I firmly believe, I know Sandra does too, we're all here for a purpose. And that purpose is tied to what we love, what we care about, what our talents are, what our strengths are, what our core values are. So just because you think it's a small dream, or maybe you don't know how to do it or whatever, you have a purpose, and bringing that dream to life is part of your purpose. So it's your destiny, right? So we're going to show you how to pursue this, the courage to pursue what you envision. And I usually start with a question on this whole thing. And this is the one you can start thinking about and come prepared on the 15th to really put it into practice. And it's like this: if anything were possible, anything, what would your life dream, or what would your dream life look like? What would it look like if anything were possible? What would you have? How would you interact? What would your relationships look like? What would your business look like? What would you be doing? What would your family, your community look like if anything were possible? Because here's the thing, it is. Anything is possible. And we're going to show you how that works. And if you aren't sure about what kind of life dreams maybe you might have, here's a couple. Launching a business, right? So many of you are here because you're growing your affiliate business. Absolutely, that's a life dream. Having the level of income that you want. Anything is possible, right? Maybe some of you want to create a masterpiece, a legacy that says, this is who I am and this is how I saw the world. You now have AI tools to help you write a book. So that's no longer a barrier. There's a lot of things that can help you. Maybe it's to create an art piece. Maybe it's just to do something that is uniquely you, your masterpiece, and bringing it to life. Travel the world. Maybe you want to see things and experience cultures and food. And I know I love food. So, I always want to experience great food and so many wonderful cultures and sites and things like that. And how about relationships? That beautiful family that you have, however you define family, whatever that looks like for you, and enjoy that time. Like Sandra and I are really passionate about building communities, and we're not talking about a geographical community. We're talking about a global community. Our channel that she's been talking about all night, our Great Discovery community. And again, it's about empowering everybody to have that life dream and know how to walk that path to get to that dream. That's a strong community, and that's what we're hoping to build. And maybe there's just that one special person, right? Cherishing that loved one. And how can you spend more time and have more quality time there? So those are some life dreams that, people have. And there's so many more. And you obviously can have as many as you like. And the Great Discovery can help with all of them. So here you are. Welcome to our community. We want you to engage and reap the benefits of it, learn this way of thinking, this new way of learning, and really just achieve whatever your heart's desire. And so we're going to show you what the proven path is to your life dream. But very simply, it's just a way that transforms your vision into achievable milestones, something you can accomplish. And really quickly, I'll show it to you. We'll teach it to you later. But here it is. This is your proven path. It looks very simple, but I promise you there are layers. There are things to think about. There are things to think differently about. There are things to learn differently. But in the end, it's a path. And we start at the top right. We dream, we innovate, we build out that path, and then we circle around the bottom and we execute, and we move closer and closer step by step to our dream. And so this is what we will teach you on the 15th. But there's also, many of you have the Great Discovery International course. If you haven't cracked it open, now's a good time. And if you don't have it and you just want to get started, here, let me escape from this or stop sharing. And you know what? We've got a free ebook out there. And that was a book that Michael and I co-wrote, gosh, back in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. And we put it out on the platform as an audiobook, as well as the PDF version. And it's a story. It's just a novel. It's a story about two people who are, in various stages of transition in their life, trying to achieve something, trying to figure out, where they go next in life. And they have the good fortune to sit next to Dr. Michael Harry on an airplane. And Dr. Michael Harry teaches them the Great Discovery for their particular situations on this plane trip. And it's I think stories that you will resonate with, you'll understand. Hopefully it makes it very simple to walk through the process and to hear it really in his words as he taught it. And so it's a very pretty fast read if you're going to read it in, I don't know, a couple of hours to listen to for an audiobook. So take this, share it, promote it. Please invite as many people as possible on the 15th, because you know what? Like I said, there's no language barrier anymore, and there's no reason at all why people can't attend and learn this wonderful process. The 15th will be a free event, so they don't have to pay anything either. So yeah. So Sandra, you want to add anything? I'm sure you do.
So I've got the book up. I was just sharing that so you guys could see it. And Cathy said, share it. It's a free book. So you're going to accomplish two things. You're going to get people in your network, right? They sign up for that free course. And it's an audio book, guys. So it's translatable in all the on-demand translation languages. And the text is in all of the lessons also. So the text will translate into all the languages on the Great Discovery platform. So that's even more than the on-demand. We'll be adding more on-demand. So share this link. And I will put the link in the, now this is going to have my affiliate code on it, guys. So Clara, I'm just going to tell you where it says equal demo 2 at the end, you want to put your username. Okay, remember to replace that with your username, otherwise you'll send them to my website. So you want to do it to yours. Or Clara, another thing to do, or anybody out there, go to your replicated website, find this course. I'll show you guys where it's at on the platform. It's very easy to find. Let me share. So go to your replicated website. And then if you go straight down on the home page to courses, it's right here. Okay.
Oh,
You can very easily open it up, right? Just like that. Make sure you're on your website. You can either grab the link here. You can share it on any of the social media platforms. If I click Facebook, I'm not logged in, but I would just log in. It'll go and it'll create a post right on my page. I can write something about it, say here, and share that out. You can do that with all the social medias that are listed here, guys. So it's very easy to share. It's free. It's translatable. It's an audio book with the chapters written in it. So it's really, really great. Okay. Now, if I go back one page, the other premium course that we have up that is the Great Discovery International. And then as Cathy said, we are adding an academy level course that has coaching embedded in it with our coaching system and our coaching tokens. Now, someone can take the Great Discovery International, the premium course, and go through the course on their own and then buy coaching tokens and go into our coaching system also. That does work too, right? So either way that is. Another thing I want to remind you guys, all of the creators, since we started this platform and started bringing creators on the platform, you all have this course in your account. It was part of your package. So go, if you brought creators on the platform, guys, another way to get re-engaged with them is say, hey, they're having this summit and you've got the course. It's not even going to cost you anything. They already have it. Okay. Now, if they want to expand and get coaching on it, that would be another cost, but still they have the course. They could actually start going through the course and they've already got it. So that might be another way to get people interested. So trying to come up with some different ways. I think that's kind of it on sharing I had. Cathy, do you want to add anything else before we open it up for questions?
Yeah, I just want a couple other things. So, you know, one thing, and Sandra alluded to it, and I want to just emphasize it again. We've been teaching the Great Discovery for, well, since at least 2009, and we've taught it to people of all different ages, and we've seen amazing results. People achieve amazing things. So we know it works. We know it works for people. We know it works because of its history with Six Sigma, and Six Sigma has been wildly successful for companies all over. It doesn't seem to matter culture. It doesn't seem to matter age, location, any of that. If people, it really, all it takes is the willingness to engage and the willingness to say, hey, you know what? I want to improve my life. I want to make that second order change that Sandra said. But so many people said to us as they were going through it in those early days, gosh, I wish I had this as a child or as a teenager or as a child, which is why we created the teen program. And we do have the teen program up there, and it also has coaching as part of it. So some of our, it seems almost like the teenagers or the younger people, it's not as much of a second order change because we start them thinking this way right from the start before anybody else tells them to think differently, and they suddenly view the world this way, and they're so able to accomplish things because that's just how they think. They don't know any other way. So it's amazing when you get your kids exposed to it. And we've seen, oh my gosh, the teens that have done, they're now incredible adults are accomplishing amazing things. So, and even the little ones, I with the books and some of the things that people I know who have the books that either I've given them or they bought, or Sandra and I have gotten those books to the people, and they'll say, my 6-year-old talks about having a life dream, or my 7-year-old loves, understands values and core values. So it's like they get it at a very young age, and it's just so powerful. So truly, any age, any person, anybody on the planet, and we want to share that with everybody. So this is an opportunity to promote and really get a lot of people there. Come yourself, engage, have fun. We're gonna have a blast that day. I promise you that.
Yes, it'll be fun. You can tell we're excited, right?
We're excited.
All right. Any questions? We'll be quiet. I promise.